Racism means,
A race feels that they're superior to another race.
It makes you feel like your life is worthless. It really does.
I don't know, I just wish there was like a solution already.
A race feels that they're superior to another race. Not only do they believe that, but they act on it.
my name is Rakesh, and I should be judged about what kind of person I am. Rakesh means the sun and the moon.
I think the policemen are the safest people.
I guess I had a naive perspective of racism back then.
Oh, cops are your friends, you're supposed to, they're here to protect you. But all I'm seeing is the opposite. I was just looking at my expression. So how can I not be afraid when I feel like I'm being hunted? Obviously, I was very angry. I also kind of see this subtext of longing. This real desire for things to not be this way. Don't mind me. Fear, the frustration, the fatigue, all brewing and boiling together, constantly bubbling at the top, always threatening to burst, but don't erupt. Stay cool. There he goes again.
As I got older, I saw that there's so many different types of racism, so I think that was one of the things I would probably tell myself to look out for.
Imagine that. Your words worth less, your life worth less. Can you imagine the kind of rage that would inspire?
And I think to myself,
And you were here when Truth was killed.
what a wonderful world.
When I was in 5th grade, I didn't know half of the stuff that we were talking about.
Especially in school, I feel like they find a way to sand the rough edges of slavery and other discrimination against people of color.
I felt so much of these feelings when I was a kid. Like in 6th, 7th grade, we're reading these history textbooks. We open the page to this painting. And this is the symbol of manifest destiny. But those of us that are brown, that are indigenous, that are black, we are literally chased out of the frames of these pictures and then forced to invest in that emotionally or believe in that. All of it, when I think about it, when I sit with it, it's crazy.
There's a narrative that we're dangerous.
I mean, every day people are getting killed, so it's it's hard to be hopeful, to be honest with you.
I can't watch another video of a black and brown person being murdered by police officers with impunity. I just can't do it anymore. I've reached a breaking point.
Many moments did I encounter my blackness and have to decide whether it was something to be proud of or something to be scared of, just something to have to reckon with.
An interesting conversation I was having with my white friend was just the acknowledgement in the difference of our race and the impact that plays in our relationship and our lives individually.
5 years ago, I was still chasing whiteness. I realized that that's futile now. White supremacy taught me that the world is destined to a certain group of people. I've worked to undo all of that. And I have a language to address this stuff that I don't believe in.
I've always been taught to think critically, to always question authority, question orthodoxy. And I still am learning and trying to figure it out 100%. But I'm understanding that racism is a tool.
I have no more time to deal with chasing institutional space or like agency over like some art career that like really means nothing because it's all founded in a farce of an American dream that I no longer believe in.
Call it as you see it, but don't make your voice too loud. We don't want to scare the white folk. Even though when we scream and shout and voice our pain, many of them seem to think it's a joke, and then they want to tell us about hope or community. It's important to name your emotions, but the naming has to be followed with a decision as well, right? I am angry. What do I do about that?
Here goes Malik!
I'm honestly surrounding myself with Black people. It goes a long way to know that someone is feeling the exact same way that you're feeling. It makes you kind of want to advocate for yourself. It makes you understand that you have value in a way.
I'm fortified in my history and my ancestry, and I have only but one way to go from here.
Being in this constant state of discovery and exploration, that's really restorative for me, especially when we're living in a time of so much trauma and so much violence. This feeling of self-determination that kind of guides my life. How do I want to be in the world? How do I want to feel? What do I want to do?
I think all Black people are inherently activists. You know, our existence is radical.
When I was younger, I didn't really see that. And I kind of had that thought in my head that, oh, this is not my fight, this is not my battle, but it is.
I think I have a duty not only to call out anti-Blackness, but to also lift up pro-Blackness and lift up my Black peers.
For so long, I've been vying for like a seat at the table.
But as I've gotten older, I've realized I don't have to live in that structure. I don't have to look at myself by how whiteness looks at me.
There's all this stuff we can do on our own and with each other.
I came from Black people. I got my identity from Black people. And it would be disgraceful not to step up for people being oppressed. I am included in that.
We're constantly finding new ways to access levels of freedom. It's not so much about how we excel despite all odds in this society, but how we find room to breathe, how we find room to dance, how we find room to love.